It's early. It's
Is there
pre-noon.
not a bigger union that covers more like game industry companies?
So far, no. Paizo is actually one of the first American game companies to unionize. So even though we're an analog game, we actually, we have had our stewards and union members have had video game workers come to us and say, actually, we started our union, you inspired us, like you showed us that this could be positive, that this could happen, or we used your contract when we were negotiating, we looked at your contract and we like borrowed language from it because we thought it was good, or we use it as a starting point, which is really cool. So CWA and IATSE are kind of the big ones right now that are, you see presence of both of them. Like when I was at GDC, they both had booths. They both have active campaigns going on right now, which are things I obviously can't talk about. But IATSE is like a very, they mostly do entertainment stuff. So like stagehands, writers, actors are all kind of involved with IATSE. So they make a really natural partnership for game workers. CWA, though, also works with communications as well. And they are also a good option. So I think those are the two big unions. There's not like one that is specifically made for game workers, and maybe there will be in the future. But for right now, I would suggest if you're thinking about organizing, starting a campaign at your workplace, or you're just curious about it, I would start with IATSE and CWA for sure.
And so unionization always gets brought up, but it's also very much a U.S. thing because there's plenty of countries, especially in Europe, that already have unions. They're already protected. So when this organization starts happening, is everyone at Paizo in the U.S. or do y'all have folks overseas as well? And are the overseas folks included in it, or is it a different whole thing?
So there's always, so there's so many fun legal things with unions. Unions typically, it gets weird when you have international employees for sure. A lot of times, I know CWA covers some unions that have American and Canadian employees in them. Paizo is mostly American workers. We do have a couple folks from Canada who work for us. They are contractors. So they're like long-term contractors. So one of them is a manager. So that person wouldn't qualify to be in the union anyway. You can't be a manager with direct reports and be in the union. You can still benefit from a union in your workplace because typically the protections kind of trickle out to everyone. Like when you get better pay and better benefits, everybody is going to benefit from it, even the managers too. But as for our contractors can't be in the union. But again, we have some protections that can apply to them just because they work at Paizo. And we also have like everything now, our contract codifies all that. So it codifies the difference between, full-time and contract employees versus our short-term contractors, like our freelance contributors who do some writing and art for us, but are not on staff, that don't receive like a regular pay from Paizo. So we do have a few Canadians. They are not in our union, but again, it's because they are contractors. If they weren't contractors, then they probably could be in our union. But again, there's just legal stuff. And this was the situation that we entered into. Who knows? It could change in the future, but that's how it is for now.